So we spoke a while ago about Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, they were said to be merging, possibly with Warner Brothers Discovery. And at another point, it was said merger talks are over. But now there is more business going on with Paramount. Paramount is doing a lot.
What is going on over there?
I will say they're trying to move and shake because, I don't know what else is going on.
It just feels very unstable. Like a lot of the news that has come out about Paramount in the last year or two and the shifts and the changes that they've been trying to do, like between the BET stuff and them trying to sell BET to the streaming service stuff. It just feels a little all over the place.
Yeah.
And like maybe there's something happening beneath the surface that we don't know about. I don't know.
Like this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is an article from the New York Post. It states that Paramount reportedly could acquire Skydance in $5 billion all-stock deal. I got to be honest, when I first read all-stock deal, the first thing that came to my mind was Succession.
Yeah.
Immediately, I thought of Succession.
You gotta think of Succession.
Yeah. All right. It says here, a deal between Paramount Global and Skydance Media could see the media conglomerate acquire the independent studio in an all-stock transaction valued at around $5 billion, the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday. Under the terms being discussed, National Amusements, which controls Paramount, would receive over $2 billion in cash in the first step of the transaction, according to the report. Separately, Skydance could provide a substantial cash infusion to Paramount, owner of Paramount Pictures Film Studio, to bolster its balance sheet and help pay down debt, the journal said, citing people familiar with the matter. Paramount and Skydance did not respond to Reuters' request for comment on the Wall Street Journal report outside business hours. National Amusements and its controlling shareholder, Sherry Redstone, could not be contacted immediately. That definitely makes me think about Succession, because so much about Succession was about the goddamn amusements side of things.
And Sumner Redstone and Sherry, and that's always been a interesting story to follow.
Yep.
With the Redstones. So
Oh, one more thing I see here that I should say. Members of Paramount's board agreed to enter into exclusive merger talks with Skydance Media, favoring the independent studio over a $26 billion offer from private equity firm Apollo Global Management, Reuters reported on Wednesday. By merging the two companies, the combined entity would have much more flexibility around what it could do with those franchises, the Wall Street Journal said, adding that Redstone would get cash while investors with non-voting shares would get stock in the combined company.
So, let me ask you a question.
What up?
What would you do with $26 billion?
First of all, I'd get the hell out this country. Second of all, I'd buy a bunch of land. Third of all, I would do everything in my power to get custody of my daughter. And third of all, was that third of all? Finally, I'd disappear into the darkness. Y'all would not see me anymore. There wouldn't be any public stuff. I would only see me on Zoom or something like that, board of directors meetings.
So
It'd
the
be like
podcast is over?
the pod is over.
Weeknights is over?
Weeknights will have a new co-host,
Oh.
and it will have media deals out the wazoo. You won't even want to do weeknights anymore. You'd be producing podcasts and have your media company, as a subsidiary of. I can't even say the name of my company.
Right. Well,
That
I
would be
was
the name.
serious.
The name would be I can't say the name LLC.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, that would really just be a holding company of another company of another. You know the game.
You said 26 billion, and I was like, man, that's a lot of money.
Well, nobody's getting 26 billion.
No, I
Not a
know.
person. But
I know, but I'm just,
now you have
my
stock in
brain just
Paramount.
went, wow. that's a lot of money. And
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I mean, listen, the CEO of the company gets what, close to $100 million a year or something like that. So
I'm just plugging in my device.
motorcycle. So
Oh,
anyway, yeah,
I
I
thought
was
I
just
thought it was about to say sound crash, loud boom. You know.
no, but I was just curious. I know that money is not going to an individual person. Just so we're clear, it's just a hell of a lot of money. And my mind just went, man, wow, $26 billion. What would anyone do with that amount of money? I know there are people who can tell us, but I'm
They
just
don't
thinking.
talk to they don't talk to peons like us.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't talk to people like us.
All right, let's talk about the report,
I'm joking.
lady.
I'm joking. No one would know
All right,
I'm
what about the
serious.
report? What do you think about this?
What do I think about the report? I mean, I think that I think that growth is good. I don't have a problem with Paramount trying to expand, especially where we are in this age of content
Mhm. Yep.
where uh the content that you own is almost the currency itself. Um because a lot of times your content is not just sitting under you, it's also sitting somewhere else with the way we're living in this streaming world now.
Yep.
So you want as much of that to be yours as possible, because then you could go out into the marketplace and outsource it.
Right.
People can say, hey, we need to do this deal. Like Netflix can say, hey, like we're looking to get some Paramount content under our name, and the Paramount just makes more money off of that, right? So i
Right.
don't think it's I don't think it's a bad thing. I sound very capitalistic right now. I don't think it's a bad thing. Um but I do wonder what's going on over there. I do wonder. They've been there's been a lot of things moving, and yes, that could simply just mean growth, but it could also mean signs of trouble too.
Yep.
So I'm curious about what their year will look like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we won't know what
I
the are, but I think we'll be able to see how the company changes, what type of acquisitions they end up in, what type of mergers, maybe what companies they're going to offload. I think it'll be really interesting to watch what happens to them over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years.
yes, I agree. I come on. Hmm. I pulled up Skydance Media just to see what has Skydance Media done that I know, because I know that
I,
name.
yeah, I don't know. That was
Well,
something I
here,
meant to look up myself.
well, they did Gemini Man, Will Smith versus Will Smith.
Okay.
They did Jack Reacher. They did a bunch of Mission Impossibles. They did Star Trek. Some of the new Star Trek films. They did G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. They did the two latest Terminator films. They
Okay,
did
so lots of films we know.
the latest Spy Kids movie. They did True Grit. Yes, lots of films we know. And they did the last Top Gun movie, which is why I was like, I know this from some Tom Cruise shit. And
Yeah,
yes, Tom Cruise does a lot of stuff with Skydance Media, it
it
seems.
sounds like.
So,
Is he a part of that company?
uh, no, not that I could find, but I tried to find that. That's what I was looking
Oh,
into. It does not say that he is one of the owners or a key person here, but clearly
okay.
he's got stuff going on over there, which is more interesting to me because we know he just got that deal with uh, Warner Brothers.
You think this is their way in? After Warner Brothers was like, nah, forget it.
Right.
You think this is their way to like bridge the gap? I don't know.
Maybe because a lot of this stuff has Tom Cruise in it. I'm here looking at IMDb, and IMDb says their top 30 films that they're known for. Number one is Top Gun Maverick, which is the movie that came out last
It
year
just came out.
starring
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Number two is Mission Impossible Fallout. Number three is one of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek Beyond. Number four is once again the Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation from 2015. Then World War Z, which is really interesting because that's from 2013. And Star Trek Into the Darkness. So they've done a lot of movies that we know,
Yeah.
like you said. But as I scroll here, quite a few are Tom Cruise movies.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, Jack Reacher, the Mission Impossibles, the Tomorrow War, which I believe had Tom Cruise in it, but I could be wrong. Um, the other Jack
That's
Reacher
with Tom
film,
Cruise.
all three. No, yeah, Jack. Oh, Jack Ryan is something else. Two Jack Reacher films. You know, they've been working with Tom Cruise for the last couple years pretty heavily. Uh, anyway, so it's really interesting. Do I think this is their way in? I don't know, but I think it's really smart that they are doing this deal. Um, I didn't know Paramount had debt, but most companies have debt in this country, so it's really interesting. And a smart way of using this to bring in more media into their fold and more things that they can do collaboratively, because it says they already do quite a few collaborations on the production side with Skydance. It says that what I read there said that there are quite a few films that have been co-funded by Paramount.
Mhm.
So if you already have a good working relationship, why not?
Yeah.
You know, and then now you can add some of those characters to your amusement parks.
This is true. This is true. You can do that. And all the hotels and things, the themed
Right.
hotels they have, and
All right. You can
oh,
do the Star Trek themed hotel. You know.
there's a Nickelodeon themed hotel.
Yep. So why not? Maybe Zack Snyder did that. Never mind. Dan Schneider.
I don't know what to say to you. And I know
Hey,
what to say to
listen.
you. Let's move on. I think that's what
Let's move on.